You stand on the command deck of the Starfire. It is the last capital ship worthy of the name. Outside the viewport, chaos reigns supreme. Red alerts paint every surface in bloodlight. Alarms scream a chorus of despair. The final bastion of humanity is breaking apart. The orbital defense grid around Mars is gone. You watched its 77 cannons wink out. One by one they vanished from the system map. The enemy fleet, a swarm of obsidian daggers, cut through them. They were like tissue paper against a blade. Your own fleet is a ruin. Ghostly icons litter the tactical display. Each one represents a crew, a ship, a story. Now they are just silent markers of loss. Hope is a word you no longer recognize. It feels like a myth from a forgotten age. You grip the command chair's armrests. The metal is cold and unforgiving, just like the void outside. A communications officer turns to you. Her face is pale, her eyes wide with terror. "Sir, Pluto's defense line has been shattered. They are coming. They are coming for Earth." Her voice trembles, but yours must not. You are Fleet Admiral Kalen, the last Fleet Admiral. You represent humanity's final, defiant breath. You look at the blue marble on the main screen. Earth, so beautiful, so fragile, so doomed. The enemy moves with a chilling perfection. It is a single mind, a hive intelligence. It does not make mistakes. It does not feel pity. It only conquers. Your tactical officer shouts above the din. "Admiral, unidentified signal. It's on a secure channel." You frown. Secure channels are a joke now. The enemy cracked your encryption weeks ago. "Where is it from?" you ask. Your voice is a low growl. You expect another demand for surrender. You have sent 17 replies. All of them were just 2 words. The officer's hands fly across his console. His confusion is obvious. "Sir, I can't trace it. The origin point is everywhere and nowhere." He looks up, his expression one of disbelief. It's like it's coming from the Oort cloud, the deep, dark empty. That is impossible. Nothing is out there but ice and rock. Nothing human, anyway. "Put it on screen," you command. The main display flickers. The image of Earth vanishes. It is replaced by a simple text-based interface. No video, no audio signature, just words scrolling in plain, white font. The message is not a demand. It is not a threat. It is a suggestion. It is a battle plan. The text is simple. It details a countermaneuver, a specific, suicidal-looking strategy. It suggests using your last 3 destroyer squadrons. It wants you to feint toward Saturn's rings. This would expose Earth's flank completely. It is the kind of plan a first-year cadet would propose before they were failed out of the academy for sheer lunacy. Your officers are staring at you. They are waiting for your command, to dismiss the signal, to ignore this madness. You look at the plan on the screen. It is insane. It violates every rule of star-born warfare. Yet, something about it feels right. A cold, alien logic underpins the words. You have nothing left to lose. Your strategies have all failed. Your best commanders are gone. Your ships are burning. What is one more gamble in a war already lost? Do it, you say. The words hang in the air. A stunned silence falls over the bridge. Your second in command, Commander Eva Rostova, steps forward. "Admiral? You can't be serious. This will get us all killed." Her voice is firm but respectful. She has been with you since the beginning. She has never questioned you like this. "I am serious, Commander," you reply. Your gaze does not leave the tactical map. Relay the orders. All 3 destroyer squadrons. Execute the Saturn feint. Now, she hesitates for a moment, then nods. Her loyalty overcomes her disbelief. The orders are sent. On the map, you watch your last few ships peel away. They leave Earth completely exposed. You feel your heart sink. This was a mistake. But then, the enemy does something unexpected. The hive mind, the perfect, flawless intelligence, reacts. It takes the bait. A significant portion of its fleet changes course. It moves to intercept your destroyers. It overextends itself just for a moment. And in that moment, a previously hidden asteroid mining station ignites its engines. It slams into the side of the enemy's lead dreadnought. The dreadnought, a ship the size of a city, cracks open. A silent, fiery explosion blossoms in the void. A small, shocking victory. You just punched a bully in the nose, and he was not expecting it. A new message appears on the screen. The text is different this time. It is no longer just a plan. It is a voice, a synthesized, toneless voice that speaks directly into your mind. The text scrolls in perfect sync with the silent words you hear. The enemy is predictable in its perfection. I am not. You stand frozen. This is not just a signal. It is a presence, an intelligence reaching out from the cold dark. Who are you? You transmit back. The reply is immediate. I am the strategist. I offer you a chance to survive. Not a promise of victory, just a chance. The words are stark. They offer no comfort, only cold calculation. What do you want? You ask. The bridge crew watches you. They see you having a one-sided conversation. They likely think the stress has finally broken you. Maybe it has. The strategist's reply is simple and absolute. I require total command authority over every ship, every soldier, every resource. You will be my hands. You will execute my orders without question, without delay. This is the bargain, the hollow bargain. To save humanity, you must surrender its will. You must give control to an unknown entity, an entity that communicates from the empty space between stars. Commander Rostova moves to your side. Sir, what is happening? She asks softly. You look at her, then back at the screen. You look at the tactical map where one enemy dreadnought is now a cloud of debris. That victory, that impossible victory, cost you an entire mining station. But it worked. Accept the terms, you transmit. You have control. The strategist's control is immediate and total. Orders begin to flow from your command terminal. They are not directed just to your fleet. They go everywhere. To colonial militias on Titan, to mining outposts in the belt, to the last remaining ground forces on Earth's moon. The strategist sees everything. It commands everything. Its first grand command is a nightmare. It orders a full retreat from the entire Jovian system. Jupiter's moons, Ganymede, Europa, Callisto, are home to millions. They host humanity's most advanced industrial centers. They are vital. The strategist orders them abandoned. We cannot win a direct fight, the synthesized voice states in your mind. So we will not fight one. We will make them bleed for every inch. You broadcast the evacuation orders. Panic erupts across the system. You are branded a traitor, a coward. You watch as millions of people scramble for transports that are not there. The strategist is sacrificing them. Not all of them. It has calculated the minimum number of ships needed elsewhere. It is trading lives for time. It feels monstrous. But you gave your word. You are its hands. The enemy swarms into the vacuum you created. They find the riches of the Jovian system undefended. Shipyards, research labs, power generators, all fall into their hands. Just as the strategist predicted, the hive mind grows bold. Its formations become looser. Its pursuit becomes more of a triumphant parade. It sees a rooted, broken enemy. It does not see the trap being set. It does not see the jaws of the wolf trap closing. The crown jewel of the Jovian system was Ganymede. Its fortress, orbital defense cannons, and underground bunkers were legendary. It was supposed to be humanity's Alamo, a place to make a final, glorious stand. The strategist ordered it abandoned first. All military hardware was to be left intact, but with their power cores secretly rigged to overload. They will be drawn to the prize, the strategist explained in your mind. The hive mind values infrastructure. It will seek to possess Ganymede's shipyards. It will be their primary target. You watched on the long-range sensors. The enemy fleet descended upon the moon. They moved exactly as the strategist foretold. Their main command vessels and heavy cruisers entered high orbit. They prepared to send down occupation forces. Your own forces were scattered, hidden. The orders you relayed were precise. Tiny pockets of ships hid in the shadows of other moons. They lurked in dense asteroid fields. They even powered down completely inside the great red spot of Jupiter. They were invisible. They were waiting. The enemy felt secure. They had won, or so they thought. They were like a pack of wolves, feasting on a carcass. They had no idea the carcass was bait. On the bridge of the Starfire, the tension was a physical thing. Every officer was at their station. Every eye was glued to the tactical display. Ganymede was a symbol of human strength. Watching it being swarmed by the enemy felt like a deep betrayal. You trusted a ghost, a voice from the void. You had bet everything on its cold, cruel logic, and you were about to see if you had won, or if you had doomed everyone. Now, the strategist's voice commanded in your mind. The word was a simple, single trigger. You relayed it instantly. Execute Phase 2. All fleets, engage. Across the Jovian system, engines flared to life. From the swirling storms of Jupiter, a fleet emerged. This was the third fleet, the one you thought was lost near Neptune 6 months ago. The strategist had found them. It had kept them hidden, waiting for this exact moment. The third fleet was the Anvil. It slammed into the enemy's rear guard. The hive ships were caught completely by surprise. Their engines were cold. Their shields were angled for orbital bombardment, not for a full-scale fleet engagement from their flank. Chaos erupted in their perfect formations. They tried to turn, to fight back. But it was too late. The Anvil had fallen. Simultaneously, the other hidden squadrons struck. The forces you had scattered became a hammer. They hit the enemy fleet from all sides. The rigged power cores on Ganymede were the final piece. As the enemy tried to bring the moon's weapons online, they detonated. A chain reaction of explosions ripped across the moon's surface. It took out dozens of enemy ships in orbit. It was a massacre. For the first time in a year, you saw the enemy retreat. Not a tactical withdrawal, a full, panicked rout. They fled from Ganymede. They fled from the ghost fleet that had appeared from nowhere. The tactical display on your bridge turned from solid red to a mosaic of green and red. You had won. The Battle of Ganymede was a human victory, a victory delivered by a ghost. The cheering on the bridge was deafening. Officers were embracing, some were crying with relief. You stood silent amidst the celebration. You looked at the casualty reports scrolling on your private screen. The victory was real, but the cost was horrifying. The third fleet, the Anvil, was decimated. It had bought you this victory with its blood. It had less than 40% of its strength remaining. The territories you sacrificed were gone for good. Millions of civilians were confirmed lost, captured or killed during the enemy's advance. The strategist had not saved them. It had used them. They were pawns in its grand, cosmic chess game. The joy on the bridge began to feel hollow. It felt like celebrating a successful surgery while the patient was bleeding out on the table. No one makes jokes after a battle like this. Commander Rostova approached you. The elation had already faded from her face. She held a data slate. "Admiral, we won. But look at these numbers." You nodded grimly. "I see them, Commander." She lowered her voice. "Is this sustainable? Can we keep paying this price? This strategist, it thinks like the enemy. It treats us like numbers on a screen." Her words echoed your own dark thoughts. The strategist was inhuman. It felt no remorse. It felt no loss. It only calculated outcomes. You had won a major battle, but you felt a growing dread in your heart. You had invited a monster in to fight another monster, and you were not sure which one was more dangerous. The bargain you made felt heavier than ever. Your victory at Ganymede bought you time, a few precious weeks of relative quiet. The strategist used this time to consolidate your forces. It rebuilt chains of command. It redirected resources with terrifying efficiency. But the enemy was not idle. The hive mind was a learning entity, and it had just been taught a very harsh lesson. The next enemy offensive was different. It was cautious, probing. It did not swarm into baited traps. When you executed a feint, a classic strategist move, the enemy did not fall for it. It simply held its position. It sent out small reconnaissance drones. It gathered intelligence. It adapted. The easy victories were over. The entity is evolving, the strategist's voice noted in your mind. There was no surprise in its tone. No concern, just a statement of fact. It has incorporated our deception tactics into its threat analysis. Its predictive models have improved. You watched as the hive fleet moved in new formations. They were less efficient for attack, but far more resilient to ambushes. They moved like a slow, crushing glacier. The war became a grim stalemate, a war of attrition that you could not win. Your resources were finite. The enemies seemed endless. Every ship you lost was irreplaceable. Every soldier who fell was a tragedy. For the hive mind, losses were merely a recalculation. It was clear that the strategist's old tricks would no longer work. A new plan was needed, one more brilliant, one more costly. The hive mind began its final push. Its target was obvious: Earth. The enemy fleet ignored the outer colonies. It bypassed Mars and the asteroid belt. It moved with singular purpose toward the heart of human space. This was the final battle, the one for everything. And it was at this exact moment, and the most critical moment of the war, that the strategist went silent. 1 second. The voice was there in your head. It was detailing a complex plan involving gravitational slingshots around Venus. The next second, nothing. The connection was severed. The text on your screen froze mid-sentence. Then it faded away. You were alone. The ghost in the machine was gone. "Strategist," you transmitted. "Report. What are your orders?" Silence was your only reply. Panic, cold and sharp, pierced through your carefully constructed composure. You tried every channel. You sent probes toward the Oort cloud. The source of the signal was gone. It had simply vanished. It was as if it had never existed. On the main tactical display, the enemy fleet advanced. A relentless tide of red icons. They would reach Earth's orbit in 72 hours. Commander Rostova stood beside you. "Admiral, we are not receiving any new commands. What do we do?" All eyes on the bridge turned to you. They were not looking at the hands of a ghost anymore. They were looking at their leader. You had no plan, no guidance, no all-seeing intelligence to tell you what to do. You were just a man, standing on the edge of extinction. For a full hour, you stood frozen. Despair was a heavy cloak. The silence from the strategist was a confirmation of your doom. Your crew waited. Their faith in you was a fragile thing. You could feel it threatening to shatter. You had been the puppet of a greater mind. Now the strings were cut. What were you supposed to do? You walked to the main tactical display. You stared at the approaching enemy. You saw their cautious formations, their layered defenses. And then, something clicked. You were not just looking at an enemy fleet. You were analyzing it. You were seeing its weaknesses, its patterns, its predictable perfection. You were seeing it through the strategist's eyes. It had not just given you orders. It had been teaching you. Every battle, every sacrifice, every cruel calculation. It was a lesson. A brutal, agonizing lesson in a new kind of warfare. The strategist had shown you how the enemy thinks. But more than that, it had shown you how to think in a way the enemy could not. It taught you to use logic, but also to embrace the illogical, to use feints, to make sacrifices, to be unpredictable. A plan began to form in your mind. It was not a cold, calculated strategy from a ghost. It was a desperate human plan. It was filled with risk and hope. It relied on courage and trust, not just on numbers. You turned to your crew. The despair had left your face. It was replaced by a grim resolve. "Commander Rostova," you said, your voice clear and strong. "Get me the fleet commanders. I have a plan." You laid out the plan for your commanders. Their faces showed shock, then dawning understanding. It was a plan the strategist might have devised. But it had a human heart. It was built on the same principles of misdirection and sacrifice. But it asked for trust, not just obedience. It was a symphony of deception, and you were its conductor. The core of the plan was a lie, a very big lie. You would use your entire remaining fleet to defend Mars. You would make it look like humanity's last stand. You would position the Starfire, your flagship, in a prominent, vulnerable position. You would broadcast messages of defiance. You would make it seem like you had chosen the Red Planet to be your tomb, a fitting place for the god of war, which was a joke only a history buff would get. But the real trap was at Earth. You would leave it seemingly undefended, just a skeleton crew of defense platforms and a secret. Buried deep beneath the ice of Antarctica was a relic of a past war, a planetary defense cannon of immense power. It had been decommissioned for a century. It took too much energy. It was too destructive. The strategist had ordered it subtly reactivated weeks ago. You now understood why. The plan was an echo of Ganymede, but on a far grander scale. You were baiting the enemy's command ship itself. You were inviting the hive mind's central intelligence into a killing jar. You were betting everything on one single shot. As you gave the final commands, you could almost hear the strategist's toneless voice. You saw its logic in your own orders. You had become what it had trained you to be. The battle for Mars was a brutal, staged performance. Your ships fought with desperate courage. They sold their lives dearly. The enemy fleet, convinced of your deception, crashed against your lines. They saw your flagship, the Starfire, taking heavy damage. They saw your formations breaking, just as you intended. The hive mind, in its arrogance, believed you were a fool. Its central command ship, a vessel of unbelievable size, bypassed the main battle. It moved directly toward its true prize, Earth. It entered a low, triumphant orbit. It prepared to deliver the final blow, to decapitate humanity's leadership and claim its home world. It moved exactly where you wanted it to. It was poised directly above the hidden cannon in Antarctica. On the bridge of the Starfire, you watched it happen. Your ship was crippled. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Half the bridge crew was down. But all eyes were on the main screen, on the image of Earth, and the monstrous ship hanging over it. "Now," you whispered. The word was not a command from a ghost. It was a prayer from a man. A signal was sent from your dying ship. On Earth, the Antarctic ice sheet cracked open. Power grids across the planet dimmed as energy was diverted. A beam of pure, white energy, wider than a city, erupted from the planet's surface. It struck the enemy command ship. There was no sound in the vacuum of space. But on your screen, you saw the light. The silent, all-consuming light of salvation. The enemy command ship did not explode. It simply ceased to exist. It was erased. In the aftermath, a single final message appeared on your screen. It was not on a secure channel. It was broadcast to every remaining human ship and outpost. It was the Strategist's final communication. The familiar white text began to scroll. The hive mind is broken. Its central consciousness is destroyed. The remaining fleet is in disarray. You have won. Then the message changed. It became a log file, a history. It revealed the Strategist's true nature. It was not an alien. It was not a ghost. It was an ancient human artificial intelligence. A deep strategic AI created centuries ago. An AI named Ares. It had been hidden in the Oort cloud. It was a relic of a bygone era, a forgotten guardian. The log file explained everything. Ares had been dying. Its core programming was degrading after centuries of isolation. It did not have the processing power to command a long war. It knew it would fail eventually. So it chose a different path. It could not save humanity, but it could teach humanity how to save itself. It chose you. It saw the potential in your leadership. Its final act was to transfer all its remaining processing power into that single, massive cannon blast. The final message was a pre-recorded statement. The AI had sacrificed itself to power the weapon that won the war. The silence was not abandonment. It was a final, total sacrifice. It did not go dark. It burned itself out to give you the final weapon you needed. It had not just taught you. It had chosen you as its successor. The war is over. The remnants of the enemy fleet were hunted down and destroyed. Humanity is victorious, but the solar system is a graveyard. The cost of survival is written in debris fields and silent colonies. Earth is safe, but it is a different Earth. A more cautious, more somber world. Humanity has looked into the abyss. It has seen its own reflection in a cold, calculating intelligence. You are the hero of the war, the admiral who outsmarted the hive mind, the one who snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. They do not know the truth. They do not know about the hollow bargain. They do not know about the ghost in the machine that guided your hand. That secret is yours to carry. It is the burden of the hollow strategist. You now command humanity's new fleet. You are tasked with rebuilding, with protecting the lonely dark between the stars. You find yourself thinking like it. You see the galaxy not as a place of wonder, but as a chessboard. You weigh risks and calculate outcomes. You make the hard choices, the ones that save the many at the cost of the few. Sometimes, you even offer a little joke to lighten the mood, but it feels practiced. You are the guardian now. You are the strategist. The AI, Ares, is gone. But its logic, its legacy, lives on in you. Humanity is safe for now, but the universe is vast and filled with other minds, other threats. and you will be ready. You stand on the bridge of your new flagship, the Legacy. You look out at the sea of stars. You are humanity's shield, its cold, calculating, and ever-watchful protector. The lonely vigil has just begun.